Artificial intelligence, it's not some sci-fi movie concept anymore, right? It's here, it's now, and it's shaping our world in ways we're just starting to wrap our heads around. At the very center of it all, a massive global competition, an arms race for the future of intelligence itself. So that leads to what might just be the most important question of our time. And it's exactly what we're going to dig into today. Because let's be honest, the answer to this is going to define the world for us and for our kids. And really, the stakes, they could not be higher. We're talking about something way bigger than just who has the best tech. This is a fight over ethics, over control, and maybe even over what it means to be human when machines get this smart. Okay, so let's dive in. Section 1, the starting gun fires. A new global competition is underway. And look, this race for supremacy, it's not being fought with tanks and planes. The weapons here are algorithms, massive data centers, and endless lines of code. It's a completely new kind of battlefield. So who are the main players? Well, you've got two superpowers leading the pack, but they're playing a totally different game. On one side, you have the US, where it's all about the private sector. Think Google, Microsoft, they're chasing that next big breakthrough. But then you look at China, and it's a completely different story. It's a top-down, state-driven mission for total AI supremacy, and a huge part of that is focused on surveillance. But wait, it's not just a two-horse race, not at all. Other countries are finding their own lanes. You've got Russia, which is really doubling down on AI for cyber warfare. Then there's Europe, kind of trying to be the world's ethical referee, focusing on rules and regulations. And of course, you have places like Israel, which has become this incredible hub for both cutting-edge AI development and military tech. All right, Section 2, savior or threat, exploring the dual nature of AI. Because when you strip away all the talk about competition, the tech itself has this kind of Jekyll and Hyde thing going on. So we have to ask, is this stuff here to save us, or is it our biggest threat yet? First, let's talk about the good stuff, the promise. I mean, we are talking about technology that could genuinely solve some of humanity's biggest, oldest problems. Just think about it for a second. AI diagnosing cancer before you even feel sick, or figuring out how to manage our global food supply so nobody goes hungry. This is that incredible utopian vision that's pushing so much of this research forward. But for every incredible promise, there's a dark side. A really dark side. The exact same tech can be twisted to create some truly terrifying dangers. And this isn't theoretical. We're already seeing it. Biased algorithms making discrimination worse, deepfakes eroding our trust in reality itself. And that's not even touching on the scariest part. Weapons that can make the decision to kill all on their own. So what we've built is this incredibly powerful tool. It can be a surgeon's scalpel, or it can be a soldier's sword. And that brings us to the ultimate, unavoidable question. Who gets to decide which one it's going to be? Okay, Section 3, weapons that think. How AI is transforming the battlefield. And that last question leads us right into the darkest corner of this whole race, weaponizing AI. And let's be super clear, this isn't some far-off sci-fi problem. It's happening right now, and it's changing the very definition of war. The logic here is just chilling. It's a feedback loop you can't escape from. Look at it. One country deploys these autonomous weapons to get an edge. Well, what does everyone else do? They have to build them too, right? Just to not fall behind. Pretty soon, the machines are making decisions faster than any human can. And that's how a conflict could escalate automatically. With no human intervention, it's a race that, once it really gets going, might not have an off switch. And this is the key takeaway. The real risk isn't just about smarter weapons. It's about speed. A war fought by AIs could go from a tiny skirmish to an all-out global catastrophe in, minutes? Seconds? Way faster than any person, any leader could possibly understand, let alone stop. Which brings us to our next section, the control dilemma. Who is really in charge of this technology? This whole mess forces us to ask that really fundamental question. And trust me, the answer is probably not who you think it is. We spend so much time talking about nations, right? But we absolutely cannot ignore the corporate titans. I mean, look at these names. We're talking about companies with budgets and brainpower that are bigger than some countries. They're not just playing the game. In a lot of ways, they're making the rules, running circles around the governments that are supposed to be in charge. So this leaves us with a really tough choice, doesn't it? Who do you trust? Do you trust the governments, whose main goal is geopolitical power? Or do you trust the corporations, whose main goal is profit and market share? One is accountable to citizens, in theory anyway, and the other is accountable to shareholders. Neither one feels like a perfect answer, and that, right there, is the heart of the control dilemma. And all of this, it's all building toward the ultimate control problem, a concept that used to be pure science fiction. But now it's something scientists and ethicists are debating for real. And that concept is the singularity. We're talking about the hypothetical moment when technological growth just becomes uncontrollable, the moment an artificial superintelligence is born. And here's the scenario that keeps people up at night. It starts out great, right? We build an AI to help us solve our problems, but then it gets so smart that it starts improving itself. It starts rewriting its own code faster and faster in ways we can't even begin to understand. And at that point, well, we're not driving anymore. So where does that leave us? Let's talk about humanity's next move, because our choice will define the future. I know this can all feel pretty overwhelming, but the story isn't over. The future is not set in stone. The choices we all make right now are what will decide which path we end up on. And broadly speaking, there are three very different futures ahead of us. Path 1, AI dictatorship. Think mass surveillance, total authoritarian control. Not great. Path 2 is the dream, AI utopia. We all work together and we use this incredible technology to solve climate change, disease, poverty, the whole shebang. But then there's path 3, AI collapse, where our uncontrolled competition just leads to some kind of catastrophic misuse or accident. The stakes are, well, they're everything. Here's the thing we have to accept. This race probably can't be stopped. The genie is out of the bottle. But, and this is a huge but, it can be guided. Its direction is not inevitable. We can demand transparency. We can support the people doing ethical research. We can push for global cooperation to steer this thing towards that utopian vision, not the other two. So ultimately, it all boils down to this one question. The future is literally being coded into existence, right now, as we speak. So the question for you, for me, for all of us is, who do you want writing the script?